have with me alumni of this great citadel of learning, and they are to discuss on a topic that will entertain you and also teach our learners what it looks like to be outside the school environment. I am Mrs. Nelly Nwajago, and with me here are
Precious Mwajide.
And Ezeshidebe Clifford.
Okay, I'm Agomwe Johnson. I will be co-anchoring the program. Thank you.
welcome once again. Today we'll be discussing a topic that is interesting and dear to all of us here as students and as learners. We are to discuss the world beyond the classroom, preparing students for life's challenges and opportunities. The world beyond the classroom, preparing students for life challenges and opportunities. I want to ask, Precious, you have been here. You were once a student of this great citadel of learning. How has it been outside the four walls of this school?
Okay. Good afternoon once again. No response. Good afternoon once again. Okay. Life outside school, I must say, is a challenging one. It has not been rosy all the while, but by God's grace, God has been helping us. The virtues, the character that was inculcated in us while we were in this school has been helping us, has been pushing us forward to push forward in life.
Okay. Chidebere, how has it been outside school?
Okay, I would have said challenging, but my brother has used the word challenging. So I would say it has been an interesting journey of growth and making lots of mistakes and recording so many wins. And it has been an interesting one. I think that's the best way to put it.
Okay, I want to know, now that you're outside school, outside Bishop Ozodike Memorial Seminary, I mean, are there some skills that we are not taught in school that you found necessary outside school environment? Are there some skills that were not taught in school that you found necessary in the world outside?
Okay.
Chidebere, go ahead.
Okay, I trying to rephrase the question a bit. So there are some skills that we are taught, but not just take it serious.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I will start from there. First is communication skills. Being a student here, we are exposed to competitions, debates, and I didn't know how important it was. Yes, I happened to be in the debating society, then went for competitions, but then very importantly is also maximizing relationship skills. Then, and also an advice to my younger ones here is that relationship would matter a whole lot out there. Yeah, so when the school exposes you to competitions, bringing other people from, like, I would want the younger people to know that there are more to relationship, more interesting and better things to a relationship than boyfriend, girlfriend, right? So bringing people from other schools is an opportunity to connect. So then, if there is one that was not taught at all, is financial skills. Because when I now left school, I didn't know how much I needed to, especially being a guy, and you are expected to be independent to a point, right? Your parents don't have an issue paying your school fees in first year, second year, third year. But once you're approaching final year, the next question will be, when are you graduating? And there are some other expenses you can't call your parents. So if there is a skill that was not taught at all, like I said, there were some that was taught, but I did not just take it serious. But if there's one that was not taught at all that I learned on the way, it's financial skill.
I want to ask, when you talked about financial skills, financial management, a lot of people have argued that financial education is not incorporated in our system. But we know that there are subjects like financial accounting, economics. What do you think is the difference between those subjects that look like they are financially related, okay? The economics, the financial accounting, and subjects like that. What do you think is the difference between them and the financial education that you talked about that you needed to pick outside school? Is it that these subjects don't deal with the real situation, or is it that they are not being taught the right way. What do you think is actually the disconnect between these two?
Okay, to answer that question, I have to point out that I was an art student, and I did economics from SS1 to SS3,
Wow.
and I did accounting in my just in my SS1, before I now changed to pure art. And it was an interesting time, right? But I believe economics, we did the scheme of work, and that was just it. The little knowledge I had in accounting, we had an amazing teacher, and yeah, shout out to Mommy Letitia Shuku. She did an amazing job. Even in the old group, old boys group, sometime we were discussing, we made reference to her, and yeah, she's doing a good job. But I feel that some of the things taught there was not just practical. So in accounting, you get to calculate money that you've not seen, you've not exist, that you know you've not handled before. And if there's something, when I now talk of financial intelligence or financial education, is things at their level now, at your level in secondary school, the most important thing is to save. I didn't learn saving. Somehow we were able to save, and the culture here, especially for bishops of the case, what we call auto-night. So yeah, to be real, okay, to bring it down. So as you know, so that my brothers would also engage in what we are saying. So you would save for the whole term. Yes, that's the right word, the term. You save for the whole term, only to consume it in one night. So when I look back now, I saw how stupid I was. So you know, you go hungry for a whole term and save a whole lot just to consume it like in one night, and the next morning you are going back home. So things like these savings, and there was a time I came across a post online that the school is now doing skill acquisition, teaching students how to do these things. So I think, and I must commend the school, and that's an amazing thing, because when they leave here now, they don't know how important that skill will be.
But I want to just, sorry to cut it. I want to know, what would you suggest that should be done differently, particularly in that area of financial education? If you were to suggest to maybe to the Ministry of Education, policymakers in education, you know, those who manage school system, what would be your advice to them on incorporating that level of financial education that you are talking about, that doesn't seem to be incorporated in our normal subjects, economics, financial accounting, like you said? What do you think can be done in that area?
Okay, first, I think that the first thing should be done should be to introduce a course that would cover for this financial education. It may not be so large, but something, like I said, as basic as this young ones should learn how to save. I know if you can't save from 100 naira, you can't save from 1,000.
Exactly.
So courses now should also be maximized and be introduced and have the students learn. Thank you.
All right, to my next question, Precious. He talked about things that we are taught in school. Now, I want you to relate these academic activities, the academic skills, subjects that we are taught, relate them to your real life experience. What subject, this one helped me to do this one helped me to do this. So what are those subjects that are taught in school that you found necessary outside school?
Okay, I'll begin with physics. I studied electrical electronics engineering, so we apply much of physics and math related courses. So I found that physics is just, we apply this knowledge by mere observation of our everyday happenings. You understand? For example, in physics we did 3 methods of heat transfer, which are conduction, convection, and which other one? Are there science students here? Radiation, okay? So in conduction, they told us that it's a process by which heat is transferred through a material, the average position of the material remaining the same and all that. And they gave us an illustration that when you pour a hot water into a metallic cup, that it tends to feel hot after some time. And then that is conduction taking place. And also when you put a metallic spoon in the hot water, it tends to feel hot after some time. So that is simple conduction. There is no else to explain it. So all this knowledge that's been taught in school has is applied every day, is applied in our everyday happenings, in our everyday environment. It's just for you to observe. Even as a science student, you need to be very observant, you understand? You need to be observant to know what, to be able to correlate what you have been taught in class with the everyday happenings. Also for civic education, your knowledge of civic education will help you to know your right as a citizen of the country.
Okay.
So that no one plays on your ignorance. If you know the rights and privileges you have as a citizen, you'll be able to defend your rights. You're able to not to infringe on another person's right, because it's where your right starts, or rather stops. That is where another starts. Yeah. You understand? Another subjects, and also going for field work. That is how we can apply all this, what we are being taught. Going for field work, there is what we call IT in the university, industrial training. So we have, it's where students go, the university release students to go for practical experience of what they have been studying in school, so that it doesn't be only theory all the while. So I find it that very helpful. I must say, there was a topic they were taught us, principle of electromagnetism. In school, we did it, but I didn't have much better understanding. It was until during our IT period and some of these yearly break, that is in quote, ASU strike, because I can't think of any year that I completed without ASU going on strike. So thank God I utilized this opportunity to go and learn how to repair electronic devices. We repair electric fan, we repair iron, pressing iron, we repair voltage stabilizer and the rest. It was in this workshop I found the real application of this principle of electromagnetism, where when electric current is passed through the windings of the stator, it induces or generates magnetic field. And this magnetic field generated by this stator helps to induce a
Precious,
current.
I'm actually going to cut you because,
okay.
You know, when you were introducing yourself,
Okay.
you didn't tell our audience that you had an A1 in maths, A1 in further maths, A1 in physics. So I wasn't surprised when you were almost conducting a lecture here. But, but just so that this may not become a lecture or a classroom, I want to ask, you've told us so much about the things you learned that helped you in the real life. But I want to ask, are there some things that you learned that now you are just asking yourself, why did I even spend my time on this thing? Why did I even write note on this thing? Are there things like that when you look back you say, my God, the time I spent on this thing, I think it was just, I could have just used to do something else. Are there things like that?
Okay. For me, I don't think there is. I love to gain knowledge wherever the field is. I like to read books. So I find any knowledge, I keep updating myself, I keep studying to even the courses that are outside my field, so that to be equipped. Because I know that though I may not, it may not be of relevance or importance to me now, I know that I will need it sometime in the future. So I tend to acquire knowledge, garner knowledge wherever I find it. So I don't think there is any course or subject I regret doing.
Okay. Let us talk about students' personality. Okay. Students' personality. I want to ask, these extracurricular activities that we do, that are not academic activities, do they affect on the student personality? Eze, let's hear you.
Okay. Yes, the answer is a big yes, right? And I would point some which came to my mind quickly is teamwork. A saying said that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go as a group. So I think one of the things, during those days we do inter-seminary, quite unfortunate I was not so active. I didn't go for any. but they are my classmates, would come around. So that thing that they do in the field, that 11-man players, and you don't know that you are learning teamwork because the goalkeeper cannot give the goal himself. So you now know that it will teach you one thing, that you have your own part to play in whatever that is being done.
Sure.
To also teach you leadership. You know, I was quite having an interactive time with some of my younger brothers over here, and I was trying to tell them that those little offices you are holding now in school, you don't know how far. Being able to lead your classmates, your younger ones, once it is not abusive, you understand that you have an edge. There's something that someone that served, even if it is house prefect, knows by experience, that someone that did not serve at all. Something as little as chapel steward. Okay, so bringing it down now, chapel steward, you have to balance the interest between your chapel prefect, the teachers, and your younger students. Because there's a way you beat them to please the teachers, and you are not in good terms with them. So as little as those things might look like, those things are building you. So I believe that these things, so even going for, like I said, the competitions and the those of us here meeting other schools. So I know some of the relationships that helped me in my early days in the university was some of these relationships I built with, because I went for competitions, I left the school, yes, and all those. So I know of something that is very, very, very important and useful.
Precious, do you think in the same line?
Sure.
All right.
I think one benefit of or role that extracurricular activity play in a student's life is it helps to develop leadership skills in them. It helps to develop leadership skill, because whatever they are extracurricular activities be, there must be leadership body in that thing. So it's those that are involved in it that will still take up that leadership position. So it helps students to develop leadership skill, and also it helps them to be able to manage their time well. Balancing academics and extracurricular activities can be challenging, but with good strategy, you can be able to balance the two. So you have, you'll be a good time manager of your time, knowing that you don't have all the time to yourself.
All right. Students, I hope you are learning. These words are coming from the mouth of people that has been here. They have been here before you, and they are teaching you from what they experience. Now, I want to ask, are there challenges outside there? Are there actually challenges? Like our topic says, preparing students for life challenges and opportunities. Are there challenges outside the classroom? Chidebere.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I really want to, this one is so particular to me or personal, because I believe this is one of the most important questions. So are there challenges out there? Yes, quite many. And one of it is, I would want to start with finance. It may not be for everybody, but I would want to start it because it's an average challenge, and a challenge for an average Nigerian, okay? Like an average Nigerian from the world standard is poor. So the finance part, so but from finance, when I left school, I noticed that one of my very first challenge was now interacting or relating with the opposite gender. Okay. So for 6 years, I was here interacting with boys and my fellow guys. So the way you talk to a guy is not the way you now address a lady. So when I now left, and by the grace of God, immediately I left Uzodike, I entered the university. So I tend to interact with the ladies as if they are guys. So it took me a whole lot of time to now know that, oh, this is not just your gender. You know, here you don't talk calmly. If you talk calmly, you'll be taken for granted. Sure. So you just have to talk like that a man you are, like shout, but it's not just that way. So managing that seemed to be a major challenge for me. Then also, like I said, communication, there was room for us to learn communication here, but somehow, so I did not learn so well. I actually did, I feel I tried, because immediately I left here, I entered the university, I was class rep in my first year. So I think that should be an advantage. But then, I think it now exposed me to the fact that I don't communicate well. Even to my colleagues, it's easier, I communicate better to my seniors than communicating with my colleagues. So I feel these are the major challenges, especially that of finance and relating with opposite gender.
Precious, what was your challenge?
To add to what he said, one of the challenges, not just students face, but youth generally face is peer pressure challenge, influence, peer pressure. The pressure to belong, the pressure to feel among. It's a major challenge you encounter in the university. When you come to the university, you see guys of your fellow classmates wearing the latest fashion, having the latest haircut, and using the latest iPhone and all that. So you feel tempted to ask them, oh boy, oh, show me the way now. What is it? What is it? What did you do to, you'll be pressured to try to follow their way. But it was some of the disciplines, some of the virtues that we are inculcated in us in the school that helped us, that curtailed some of these things. But there were challenges. There were challenges, I must say.
Okay, I want to ask, because you've made mention of the challenges that you had. And I'm sure that those who are listening to us, most of them are also facing some of these challenges, or they have people around them who are facing these challenges. And they may be thinking, how did you deal with these challenges?
Exactly.
How did you overcome these challenges? What was it that you did that helped you not to be swallowed up by those challenges? Because there are people who couldn't pull through those challenges. Okay, you are here today telling these stories, talking about them, because you were able to overcome them. There are some other persons who were actually swallowed up by those challenges. Their voices may not be heard. They may not be there to tell the stories. So, by God's grace, you were able to pull through. Can you tell us, how were you able to overcome these challenges?
Okay, first is now more talking specifically to my younger brothers here. I call you younger brothers because, like, we've introduced ourselves. We passed through here. These my classmates, okay, by the grace of God. And so, first, I will tell you to be very intentional about these skills that you guys have been taught here in school. Okay, you don't know how you might think that making shoes, those footwears is for one local guy there, but you don't know how much footwears are. Okay, so take those skills, very, very important. That's that for the financial aspect. Then learn savings now. So many of us will be, I guess, in our senior classes, SS3, SS2. See, there is no need for tonight. If I go back to secondary school, I will not try it. Like, I think that's the most stupid thing I've done in my life. Okay? So, yes, as I have to sound that way, so you know how serious it is. So you can actually save. So when you learn to save those things, because it will teach you one thing, when you get to the university, money is never enough. Money, there's no amount of money that will be sent to you that is enough. So that financial literacy, and reason for the financial challenge most times is not that the person does not have enough. So for instance, the person will live within the means of that 100,000. But then if you start sending that student 150,000, you see that that person will now see other things that the person may not need. So having this, so take those skills serious. Then cultivate the habit of savings. Then, when I talk of the opposite gender, I would also reiterate, and if I have a way to tell every young person that there are more to relationship with your opposite gender than boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. So you can have quite beautiful friends, both as a guy, as a lady, and not have any ulterior motive in mind. So starting now, and even start from your classmates, you will be surprised that some students don't have friends in their class. Like there are people in your class that you don't talk to. Well, I believe that you should start now. It will actually help you a whole lot. And if there is an opportunity to give speech, I can't remember the right word now, but during assembly, people from class to class will come and say something from what they learned maybe the previous week. If there's an opportunity like that, please, I will encourage you. Go for it. I think that would be my suggestions.
Just for the benefit of some of our listeners who have not been part of the seminar, you made mention of photo night. I know for sure that's a slang here. So yeah. Somebody will be listening to us from any part of the world, and you'll be
wondering what is
this thing you are talking about. You say, oh, this is the most stupid thing I've ever done in my life, and people will be like, wow, what is this thing that you are talking about? Just maybe in a minute.
Okay, Otonight simply is, okay, the Otonight itself is a night before departure. That's going for midterm break, but majorly going after a term or a semester. So it happens that as students then, so from the first day you entered school, you came back to school, you start saving. You save your cabin, your tea, your milk, you save money. Then that particular day, you will now go to canteen and buy one carton of biscuits. When I mean one carton, I mean the one that has packs in them. Buy new buckets and exhaust the whole tea, milk, cabin, golden one, cornflakes. And the funny thing is that only you alone can't finish it. Oh, yeah. So there are wiser ones amongst us that will not buy anything but will still eat that night. So you will now waste your whole term savings in one night. Not even one night, in split of minutes. in few minutes, and the whole term savings is done, is gone. So that's what is tonight. Thank you.
Precious, you know,
Yes,
how you overcame
I
the
have
challenge before
something to say. How I overcame the challenges. I had goal. I usually set goal for myself. Goal setting will help you to stay focused, even while others are doing gallivanting about. You have something you are focused to. You have something you are pursuing. That helped me to keep my eyes on the goal, so that when you see your classmates maybe pairing themselves in the name of girlfriend and boyfriend, chatting and gisting, serious ones among us will stay in the front taking lectures. In the university, no one cares, so the lecturer will enter the class. Whether you are gisting or not, you will just take his lecture and go. So it's up to you whether you are serious or not. Nobody cares. So it's this goal setting that helped us. We had something in mind, we had something we are looking up to, we had something we are pursuing. That helped us to stay focused. That's how we were able to overcome the challenges.
Thank you, Precious. We want to go on to task prioritization and time management. How do students, or how will they learn this, how to prioritize task and time management? Precious, let me start with you.
Okay. Number one way to learn time management is being able to put down what you have, writing down what you have for the day, what you intend to achieve. I tell you what I do, I won't say what I don't do. In school those days, I used to have a 40 leaves short note. I don't allow anybody to see it. I hide it under that is what guided us during those times. I set my goals for the term. I write, this is what I want to achieve at the end of the term, and then come down and write strategies, how I will be able to achieve those goals I've set for myself. So it helps us to manage our time wisely. It helps us to stay focused. So, and another thing is prioritizing your task. You should do what's needed to be done first. You should do the first thing first. You don't apply pomade without taking your bath. Yeah. Before taking your bath, you do the first thing first. So know those things. As a student, you are first year to study. No other things, other extracurriculars are just secondary. Your primary aim or purpose for being in school is to study. So other things will come after that. Don't give precedence of anything over your academics. Your academics should come first. So you prioritize your academics above anything. In school, most of the time, you see fellowship brothers going for missions and all that. Why the exam is on? I'm telling you from experience. You will say that God told him that he will go to a remote area. Why the exam is ongoing? That's, for me, a misplaced priority. That is a misplaced priority. Why the exam? When he fails the exam, he will start blaming God or saying that it's God's will. So for me, it's misplaced priority. So set your priorities aright.
All right. Chidebere.
Okay. For me, two things works for me, or rather three things work for me very well. First is, I would ask questions, how is this related to my purpose? The talk on purpose is quite a long one, I will not talk now. Two is, will I be proud of what I'm doing now, tomorrow? So, for instance, some of my younger ones that might be answering, when you go to Facebook, you see these young people, I don't even accept Facebook requests from those names. It's Kabila, ITZ, and I'll be like, if somebody, because tomorrow, soon, you'll be out of here, you will look for work. Some of your employers would go to your social media handle. So I'll ask myself, will I be proud of this thing in 10 years to come? There's something we call throwback. So you now post your picture of 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So then also very importantly, and majorly for this, I have to leave it for the last, is categorizing everything into important and urgent. Okay. So is this important? If it is important, is it urgent? There are things that are important but are not urgent. For instance, somebody in SS3 now might want to be financially independent. It is important, but now it is not urgent. You have to face your WAEC. Then there are things that are not important and that are not urgent. You're having your night class and your friends say, come and escort me to go and do this myself. For what reason? Like, escort someone else and the person is the one using himself or herself. So those things, so you now have to categorize. So if the first things on my list should be things that are important and are urgent, then you should not look at things that are important but not urgent. So after, when I'm done with things that are important and urgent, I will now go for things that are important but not urgent. But anything that is not important and is not urgent, obviously should not even come close. I shouldn't even remember it. Then there are things that can be urgent but not important. Then if you categorize your activities this way, for instance, just like my brother said, your academics is your priority. Here in Bishop Uzodike, when you enter the university, your academics is your priority, is the major thing. But then other things, fellowship, school politics, and all those can now come in when you are sure you have this one already. Thank you.
Then you said something about